Good morning, Suzanne Barron here, founder of Christ the True Light. The first 4 minutes, I forgot what chapter I was supposed to be in, but there's something that I said in chapter 5 that I didn't say yesterday morning. So I start off in chapter 5, but I'm supposed to be in chapter 6. It takes 4 minutes to get through. I ask that I have to say that now because I don't want somebody to say, oh, I already watched chapter 5 and then not watch it, because I actually do read through chapter 6. So I feel I need to say that right here and clip this in. But it's about 4 minutes, and then I jump into chapter 6. All right. Good morning. Reading Isaiah 5. I will sing for the one I love. I will sing about his vineyard. Again, the one I love is Christ. A song about his vineyard. His vineyard is in here. Try to remember to make the cover photo the image of the vineyard inside. My loved one had a vineyard on a fertile hillside. He dug it up and cleared it of stones, and planted it with the choicest vines. Verse am I thinking of? It's John 15:5. I am the vine, you are the branches. Thinking about how, like the Avatar movie, the interconnectedness of life. There's a verse, Exodus 8:22. He says he is the Lord in the midst of the earth. He's inside the earth. Avatar in the spirit AWOL. I have a page on my website, christthetruelight.com. Top, it's called Subliminal Avatar. God's finger created that movie. I see God all in that movie. The interconnectedness of life, how the spirit was in all people, and how we're just borrowed energy, and then we have to return to the spirit that created us. Exodus 8:22. He is the Lord in the midst, within, in the earth. Now, the vine is inside. He's planted a vineyard. All right. The vine is in the earth. All right. And the branches were John 15:5 says, I'm the vine, you're the branches. Christ speaking through Jesus said, I am the vine, you are the branches. This is his vineyard. He's inside the earth. And the branches is what springs forth. You were created from the dust of the earth. You were created from earth, from like the first ones. You are what sprung forth from the vine. I'm the vine, you are the branches. He built a watchtower in it and cut out a wine press as well. Cut out a wine press as well. Then he looked for a crop of good grapes, but it yielded only bad fruits. Now you dwellers in Jerusalem and people of Judah, judge between me and my vineyard. What more could have been done for my vineyard than I have done for it? Now I will tell you what I am going to do to my vineyard. I will take away its hedge, and it will be destroyed, because it had bad fruit. I will break down its wall, and it will be trampled. I'll make a wasteland, neither pruned nor cultivated, and briars and thorns will grow there. Now, obviously, it's not a good place, right? So briars and thorns are going to grow there. Thorns being like sin, it's bad. You weren't a good branch that sprung up through Christ. You are a thorn. This is sin. Thorns, barbs in your eyes, thorns in your side. I just talked about this with Paul when he said, a thorn in my side, a prick in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to harass me, to buffet me. This thorn is sin. They will grow there, and I will command the clouds not to rain on it. Let me make sure I'm on the right. I was not on the right chapter. I had just did chapter 5 yesterday morning, so that's half the problem. But I'm going to keep that because I didn't mention the vines, and there's a couple things that I didn't say yesterday, so I'm going to keep it. where we are at is chapter 6, reading for chapter 6. This is where we're at. The year the King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord high exalted, seated on a throne, and the train of his robe filled the temple. So I saw him seated on his throne. So he's having a vision. Because you cannot see God and live. So he's peering inside this kingdom, obviously, where his throne is. I talk about this throne. I talk about the glory light. I talk about the room of the Holy of Holies. That room is where he's seeing. He's seeing inside the most holy place. He sees God on his throne. Above him were seraphim, each with 6 wings. Okay. This correlates to Ezekiel's chapter 1 through 10, because Ezekiel saw seraphim. They had 6 wings, right? He saw the many-eyed ones. Enoch calls them the many-eyed ones. The many-eyed ones. The book of Enoch. The Ophanim are also called throne angels. The wheels, the Ophanim that Ezekiel sees, the wheels, Enoch calls them throne angels, because the wheel is the throne. God is sitting on his throne inside of you. That holy place, most holy place, is inside of you. So how can he see inside of himself? He's having a vision. Now, when I had this vision, it wasn't quite like this. What I saw was souls and coming in and out of me. I saw many souls living inside my human flesh. That's what I saw. And then I would see them leave and come back in, and leave and come back in. And it depended on, like, I mentioned this once before, like I had like a count. My count of like, did I have good faith or did I have bad faith today? Like my numbers would change. And I'm not saying like it would depend. I don't know how to explain it. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to explain these things. These people did the best that they could. You know, uh, Ezekiel trafficked in like amazing visions, and he tried to make something, like he tried to explain something that was very inexplainable, and that is why they literally, I have read it said this way, that the book of Ezekiel is like considered the revelation book of Old Testament times, because of how hard it is to read and understand. And the word revelation, my pastor taught me this one, taking the lid off. Mystery revealed is what it means. But he says it's like taking the lid off. Okay. You have a pot on a stove and it's got something in it. There's a lid on it. You don't know what's cooking inside. You don't know until you pull that lid off and you look inside. That's taking the lid off. That's the mystery revealed, revelation. Okay. When I saw this, all I saw was souls coming out of my body. And like, it's like, is this God? Okay, today I know for sure God is showing me, like, my soul count was probably lower. Like it was during psychosis, so it's kind of hard to really and I've said that before, like it's difficult. There's a lot that's been taken from me, but I want to say, being real, a lot was taken from me. I want to say, if I had higher count and like I was like I had less numbers, that would make more sense to me, that it would be less. And then when I'm like dealing in doubt and sin and stuff, then my numbers were higher, for the purpose of the demons were in me. Because those many members that belong to the body of Christ, they can never be out here. That's why this makes sense to me. They can never be out here. So if I'm dealing in doubt and I'm cussing out the voices and I'm just like, my numbers were higher because I have demons in me. Right? And then so pluck it out, cut it off, remove it, get rid of it. My numbers would be lower, because those members of body of Christ are in me. They're never coming and going. They're always going to be here. All right. That's what I saw in my vision. Souls entering and exiting my body. I watched them enter and exit my body in my psychosis. Give me just a second. Okay. Each with 6 wings. We're on verse 2. With 2 wings they covered their faces. With two, they covered their feet. And with two, they were flying. It doesn't give you the four faces in this one. I don't believe so. Ezekiel's vision has four faces. An ox, a lion, a human, and an eagle. Now, the Christian organizations, they take that and they say that a lion means strength. The human is like human nature. They have their symbolism for it. And that's not what it is. It really means, because you don't see the four faces in Isaiah, but they're seraphim. And Ezekiel gives them the name seraphim in, I want to say it's chapter 10. Okay, I'm kind of messing up here, but I'm not at the same time. It's very hard to describe this. Isaiah has a vision before Ezekiel. Ezekiel comes later, all right? And he's seeing the same thing that Ezekiel saw. How do I know this? He calls his angels seraphim. Now, you do studies, and they will say that seraphim and cherubim are different, because Isaiah does not mention the four faces in this vision. He doesn't mention it. But I'm telling you that the cherubim and the seraphim are the same thing. The spirit of the living creature is inside the wheel. Now, I'm going to show you how I know this. Try to do my best. Like I said, they call it the Revelation book of Old Testament. It's hard to understand these things. It's very difficult. That enlightened mind. It's hard to verbalize. And Paul said he's not an eloquent speaker. I am not an eloquent speaker, but I do have knowledge. So I paused it, got my little study chart together to try to compare this so that you can see they are the same. Now, Isaiah 6:1, it says, in the year that the King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord high and exalted, seated on a throne. So he sees a throne. Ezekiel, chapter 1, I didn't write the throne down. Bear with me. One 6 through 26. Above the vault over their heads was what looked like a throne. So he sees a throne of lapis lazuli, and high above on the throne was a figure. I saw the Lord high and exalted, seated on his throne, is what Isaiah said. Ezekiel says he saw a figure on the throne. Lord on the throne. On the throne. Okay? They're both having the same vision. All right? Saw the throne. I guess I got that one. Now, Ezekiel 1, 4 through 11. Come on now, page. There you go. I looked and I saw a whirlwind coming out of the north, an immense cloud with flashing light. Immense cloud with flashing light. On the Mount of Transfiguration with Moses and Elijah inside, there was a cloud, a bright cloud. It doesn't say flashing light in that one. That light was on Jesus' face. But a glorious cloud overtook the apostles. And inside was Moses and Elijah. These seraphim and this cherub, which is the same angel, it's the same angel. Two different men saw two different visions. One is calling it a seraphim, and the other one's calling it a cherubim. Moses and Elijah is the cherubim, is the seraphim. They are many members, the many-eyed ones, okay, that live inside the kingdom. They are inside this kingdom. They're seeing visions of being inside this kingdom. All right, that cloud that we saw on the Mount of Transfiguration, inside of Jesus, behind that veil. You think about the tabernacle time, the cloud filled the most holy place, surrounded by a cloud of witnesses. All right. They're like glowing metal. In the fire was what looked like four living creatures, the cherubim, the seraphim. An appearance Their form was human, but each of them had 4 faces. This one says 4 wings. It doesn't say 6 wings. I'm still telling you that it's the same. Just bear with me. The vision. It's a vision. Their legs were straight. Their feet were like those of a calf. So he goes into more details. And somebody's going to pick at me and say that you're teaching it wrong, and they're going to rebuke me for this. It is a vision. Human hands. All 4 of them had faces and wings. You got to think. I think that this number 4 is how he said 6 wings. I think this number 4 has probably got like a symbolism because of the 4 wheels, 4 faces. It's probably got a lot to do with it. It's a vision. So Ezekiel sees the number 4. 4 faces, 4 wheels, 4 wings. Had faces and wings, and the wings touched one another. Isaiah said, above them were seraphim, each with 6 wings. With 2 wings they covered their faces, with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they were flying. So it's impaired. I'm trying to see a comparison. I just lost the book. Ezekiel. Okay, Ezekiel. Far back. I'm 37 now. Ezekiel 37 is the prophecy of the robots. Y'all want to pick at that later. Tendons on you. Wires, put skin on you, metal, plastic. All right, okay, the faces look like human. Okay, all right, that's pretty much it for that. All right, he sees the cherubim. Ezekiel 2 verse 7. We're talking about the coal. Say coal right there, does it? You must speak the words. Got that pulled up. No, it's chapter 10. Verse 2 is what it is. Chapter 10. Ezekiel chapter 10, verse 2. It says, the Lord said to the man clothed in linen, go in among the wheel beneath the cherubim and fill your hand with burning coals. So he's picking up coals, burning coals, among the cherubim and scatter them. The city. All right, so there's that word cherubim. In the city. Now, from among the cherubim, and scatter them in the city. I think it was Isaiah part 1. I talked about this city. This is difficult. Bear with me. All right, so Isaiah in the coals. One of the seraphim flew to me with a live coal in his hand, which he had taken from the tongs from the altar. The altar, right? Where's that altar? Inside that holy place. With it he said, see, this has touched your lips. Your guilt is taken away from you. Your sin is atoned for. All right. So there's coals here. And then the voices, that's going to be, he said, and they were calling to another. The sound of their voices, at the sound of their voices, the doorposts and thresholds shook, and the temple was filled with smoke. Filled with smoke. Holy, 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 the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of his glory. That glory light that dwells inside of us. All of us, the whole world, whole earth is full of his glory. He lives in everything. He is the vine, the Lord inside the earth. All right. Ezekiel chapter 10, verse 18 says, the glory of the Lord departed. So we're talking about this glory from the threshold of the temple and stopped above the cherubim. So departed. That's the best I can do right now. in a 5-minute study to try to compare it so that you can see they're talking about the same thing. This way I can finish Isaiah 6 and just kind of get through it, move past this portion of it. It might be the whole chapter. All right, so Isaiah 6. In the year the king Uzziah died, and I saw the Lord high and exalted, seated on a throne. And the train, I ran out of batteries, so it's perfect. And the train of his robe filled the temple. Above him were seraphim, each with 6 wings. With 2 wings they covered their faces. With 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they were flying. And they were calling to one another, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of his glory. At the sound of their voices, the doorpost and thresholds shook, and the temple was filled with smoke. Woe to me, I cried. I am in ruin, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I have lived among people of unclean lips, and my eyes have seen the King, the Lord Almighty. I'm not worthy to be here. Woe to me. Then one of the seraphim flew to me with a live coal in his hand, which he had taken from the tongs of the altar. With it he touched my mouth and said, See, this has touched your lips. From the tongs of the altar, okay? What did he tell Ezekiel? He said, go into the wheels. Go back, because I just thought about better explaining that. I thought about better explaining it that way. Of the altar. Where's the altar? Inside the room of the Holy of Holies, okay? And he said, verse 2. Okay, there it is. That's the beginning of verse 2. Go among the wheels. Beneath the cherubim, the angels, the many members, go and fill your hands with burning coals from among the wheels, inside the wheels. Inside the wheels. He said, he had taken from the tongs of the altar, inside that wheel, inside that holy place. The holy place is inside the wheel, where the light was. Your human flesh is the wheel. With it, he touched my mouth and said, See, this has touched your lips. Your guilt is taken away from you. Your sin is atoned for. For I heard a voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send? And who will go for us? I said, Here, I am here. Send me. Comparison in there with Ezekiel 2. Take the time to read. I always tell people, read your own Bible. Read your own Bible. You are watching this. Do some homework after watching this video. It is only 10 chapters. Read Ezekiel chapter 1 through 10. Read it. It'll be a very long time before I get there. Read it. Read it yourself. Read it. He said, Go and tell this people, be ever hearing and never understanding. Schizophrenic people are hearing and they're never understanding. Be ever seeing and never perceiving. Schizophrenic people are seeing visions and they're never perceiving. Make the heart of this people callous. Make their ears dull and close their eyes. For those who can't see and can't hear. Otherwise, they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their heart, and turn and be healed. I understand. I see. I have turned. I am healed. Prophets still exist. Seers and hearers is what they used to be called. Old Testament times. Before they were named prophets, they were called seers and hearers. Be ever hearing, never understanding. Ever seeing, but never perceiving. Make their heart of this people calloused. Make their eyes dull and close their eyes. Otherwise, they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn and be healed. Prophets. Then I said, How long, Lord? And he answered, Until the cities lie ruined. All the cities are pretty well ruined these days. Every city and each person, we are all ate up with sin. We are the fallen ones. That city is inside of your human flesh. The city does not need the sun or moon to shine on it, for the Lamb is its lamp. So the cities, plural, lie ruined and without inhabitants, until the horses are left deserted. Horses, I saw visions. I was in a barn. A vision, hallucinating, right? I saw a vision. I was standing in a barn. And this, I don't know what you call it, bunch of horses, cattle, horses, school of horses. They busted right through that barn wall and they ran right into me. All of them ran right into me. A vision. Standing there, I mean, it was pretty scary. And horses are just running right toward me, busting the barn door down and just jumping on me, and me, on me, among me, in me, on me. And the fields ruined and ravaged until the Lord has sent everyone far away. See, you get your answers here, people. You get your answers right here. I would have not understood that vision. Hallucinating, right? I wasn't high. And though a tenth remains in the land, a tenth, I will again be laid waste, or it will again be laid waste, as the terebinth and oak leave stumps when they are cut down. So the holy seed will be the stump in the land. That is not one of my better ones. I admit. I'm untrained as a speaker. Do not have the ability to speak very well. I've done it a lot better than 3 years ago, but I do have knowledge. I ask that you understand that I have a message to give and just bear with me, stick with me. Please follow. It's more important that you share it. Please share it. I'm trying to reach people. I have given up my entire life for this. I have given up everything. I literally spend all day right here typing, studying. That's all I ever do. 24 hours, 7 days a week. I don't have a job. All day. I want you to understand that. All day. Every day. Thank you. www.christthetruelight.com